ዘንተመገታዊ ኣገባብ ኣረዳድኣ ንተረድኦ ክውንነት ዝብል ክትከታተሉ ብክብሪ ይዕድመኩም።
Chapter 2, Resolving a Creative Dilemma. 1. What are the causes of dilemmas? 2. How to resolve dilemmas. 1. What are the causes of dilemma? There are 4 major causes of all your problems. They are oneself, other people, the system, and Mother Nature. Let us say a few words about each. 1. Oneself as the cause of your problems. Is it true that you could be the source of some of your problems? Yes. We all have bad habits that cause us to mess up. These bad habits could be poor nutritional habits, poor speech habits, poor timekeeping habits, poor sleep habits, and poor work habits, and poor thinking habits. These habits can be the cause of many of the problems we experience. The interesting thing about bad habits is that they seem to be invisible to the person possessing them. Many people don't recognize their bad habits. They are oblivious. If they do recognize their own bad habits, many people try to defend them rather than try to change them. Many people who keep their bad habits try to blame their problems on other people. 2. Other people. Is it true that other people could be the source of your problems? Yes. Other people's errors, omissions, and bad habits can cause you problems. You need to know how to manage problems caused by other people. However, it is a sad fact that other people don't accept responsibility for the problem. They like to blame the system. 3. The system. Is it true that the system or system failure can be the cause of your problem? Yes. So you need to know how to fix the broken system. At a more profound level, the problem is not the fault of the system, but rather it is caused by the actions of Mother Nature. 4. Mother Nature is the cause of your problems. Mother Nature is not always benevolent. Sometimes Mother Nature is the cause of serious problems. Nature includes viruses, bacterial infections, snakes, storms, floods, and droughts. Mother Nature can be dangerous. She can be the cause of your problems. You need to know how to deal with natural disasters. Problem solving SOS. Self, others, system. Of the above list of 4 causes, we can act effectively against the first 3. We cannot do too much to stop the laws of nature, but we can work to improve ourselves, other people, and the system. This creates the concept of a problems solver SOS. S equals self, O equals others, S equals systems. What is the law of cause and effect? Everything that happens has a cause or causes. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The law of cause and effect is, whenever 2 phenomena are present together, and always absent together, and very proportionally together, then the 2 phenomena are almost certainly causally connected. Why things happen. Everything happens for a purpose, goals, aims. This statement is false. Every event has causes, triggers, antecedents. This statement is true. Not everything happens for a purpose, goals, aims, objectives. Most things that happen are not purposeful. If a volcano erupts, that has causes, but it has no purpose. If a child falls sick, that has causes, but it has no purpose. Purpose is relevant in regard to action taken by living things. Living things act purposefully, intended to achieve a goal. Inanimate matter does not. Everything that happens has causes, triggers, antecedents, interrelated events. On the other hand, everything is causal. Everything has a reason, in the sense of antecedent causes. A volcanic eruption has causes, a child's sickness has causes, an accident has causes, everything has causes. How can we find the cause of any event? It is not accurate to say, every event has a single cause. Whenever we say a cause, we should say a set of causal conditions, because every event has multiple causes. For example, a fire has 3 causes: fuel, heat, and oxygen. Whenever and wherever these 3 conditions exist at the same time, there is a fire. And if any one of these causes is removed, then the fire is extinguished. In order to discover the cause or set of causal conditions of any event, remember this golden rule for causality. The law of cause and effect states, whenever two phenomena are present together and absent together, and proportionally vary together, then the two phenomena are causally connected. For example, if heat is applied to a metal, it expands. If heat is removed from the metal, it contracts. The degree of expansion of the metal is proportional to the heat applied. Therefore, heat is the cause of the metal's expansion. Whenever you are checking a claim about the apparent causes of some event or thing, then ask the counter case questions. For example, imagine you hear someone claim that poverty causes crime. Counter case for condition 1. Are there cases of people who are poor, they live in poverty and yet are not criminals? Indeed, yes. Counter case for condition 2. Are there cases when people are rich, they don't live in poverty, and yet they still commit crimes? Indeed, yes. Is it true that the more a person falls into poverty, the more criminal they become? And that the richer the person becomes, the less criminal they become? Definitely no. We can conclude then that poverty does not cause crime. Keep looking. The law of causality is, whenever two phenomena are present together and absent together, and vary proportionally together, then the two phenomena are almost certainly causally connected. When judging claims that A causes B, ask the three counter case questions. Are there ever instances of A where no B occurs? Are there ever instances of B happening in the absence of A? Does B vary with A in a proportionate way? How to make a good decision. You are faced with making decisions every day, and it is important to make the right one. We explore the different types of decisions you will face and some fantastic tools we have developed in order to help decision making easier for you. The quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our decisions. We make decisions every hour of every day. Many decisions are trivial, such as what to eat for lunch, but even these seemingly trivial decisions have a cumulative effect. Other decisions are major, and they have enormous, long-term consequences for ourselves and others. People's lifetime earnings are determined by their ability to make the right decisions. People are paid, not in proportion to how hard they work, but rather in proportion to the value of the decisions their organization will entrust them to make. Therefore, decision-making is one of the most important skills to develop. Problem cause solution decisions. All problems have causes. Most problems have multiple causes. Name the problem and name the 3 or 4 major causes of the problem. Then assume that each cause suggests the solution. If you stop the cause, you'll stop the problem. For example, the 3 causes of fire are heat, oxygen, and fuel. If you have enough heat, oxygen, and fuel in the same place, then you will have a fire. If you remove any one of the 3 causes, then the fire will be extinguished. Problem, implication, and countermeasure decisions. All problems may be the cause of additional problems. For example, if you have lost your wallet, then that is a problem. But having lost your wallet may cause you a number of additional problems, such as credit card fraud, or not being able to hire a car because your driving license was in your wallet. All problems can be the cause of other problems, which need to be anticipated and a set of countermeasures put in place. How to resolve problems. The ability to solve problems in business is an essential skill. Whether you need to solve a problem for yourself or your employer, these tips will help you to identify and work out a solution to your problem. Here are 10 ways that will assist you to identify and solve problems. Keep your fearful imagination under tight control. When things go wrong, it is tempting to allow your fearful imagination to conjure up a host of horror stories based on incomplete information. You must keep your fears in check. Get the facts, never guess. Gather every fact pertaining to the problem. Write everything down in a notebook to deal with this specific problem. Never guess, and don't imagine. Instead, find out for sure. If in doubt, check it out. Define the problem in writing. Once you have all the facts, then crystallize the exact nature of the problem. You need to understand what you are dealing with. The most important step to solving a problem is correct diagnosis. Take immediate action to mitigate any further loss or damage caused by the existence of the existing problem. The existence of a problem may be the cause of further problems. Once you have identified the problem, you must then act to reduce the likelihood that problem A does not trigger problem B, C, and D limit the damage. Creative problem solving and decision making. We all have problems, and we all want to know how to solve them. How can you solve your problems? Here are some notes on problem solving. What is a problem? A problem is the difference between your. How can you solve your problems? Here are some notes on problem solving. What is a problem? A problem is a difference between your current state and your desired state. A problem is a difference between what you have got and what you want to have. A problem is the difference between what it is and what it should be, according to your standard of value. What is your goal? Your goal is to change the current situation and make it the way you want it, the way it should be. The act of doing that is problem solving. How do you solve problems? Step 1. Define the problem. You must know clearly what is the current situation and what is the desired situation. The gap between the two states is the problem. It must be formulated as a precise statement or question and then written down and agreed upon. Identifying and defining the problem question is the first step to solving it. The problem-solving method. In order to improve your performance, you may need to develop your personal and professional skills, meaning skills of communication, planning, prioritization, motivation, and personal confidence. 1. State the problem. 2. Gather the facts. Identify all the relevant facts that pertain to the problem. Classify and organize the facts into similar sets, and seek to find the cause and effect patterns that will suggest a possible solution to the problem. 3. Formulate a hypothesis. When you have the facts at hand, then you can formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a statement that is intended to be an explanation of an occurrence. A hypothesis may be a provisional conjecture or a theory that suggests a possible solution in the light of established facts. 4. Formulate a plan of action. Based on the facts and the hypothesis, then a plan of action is developed. A plan of action is a list of actions that, if taken in the proper sequence and implemented properly, will yield the desired result and thus solve the problem. 5. Implement the plan. A plan of action is only a piece of paper. It must be enacted for it to be of any use. The moment the plan is enacted, you will experience feedback results. 6. Observe the feedback results. Careful observation and recording of the feedback results is a critical step. You must measure what happens. If you do X, then Y happens. 7. Identify the positive feedback. Positive feedback means that your plan is working and you are getting what you wanted or better than what you wanted. 8. Identify the negative feedback. Part of the plan is not working. Negative feedback means that your solution is not working and you are not getting what you wanted or something you did not want. 9. Ponder the meaning of the negative feedback. In relation to the negative feedback, ask yourself, what is wrong with our solution? Why is it not working? You have 3 fundamental thinking tools. 1. The faculty of analysis. 2. The faculty of synthesis. 3. The faculty of intuition. 1. Analysis is the act of mentally breaking a thing down into its component parts in order to more fully understand them. In order to understand, all things should be analyzed, mentally dismantled. A problem can and should be analyzed and broken down into its subsets in order to better understand its nature. You need to develop your skills in analysis. And then you'll need synthesis. 2. Synthesis is the opposite of analysis. Synthesis is the amalgamation and combination of subset units and systems into a larger whole. You need to develop your skills in how to integrate knowledge. 3. Intuition. Intuition is the intellectual leap of insight that may be made by a human mind by means of the imagination. This is the artistic and creative faculty working in harmony with the logical faculty to produce a leap of imagination. 2. How to resolve dilemmas. Defining the difference between a problem and a dilemma can be a helpful guide. A problem has a solution, while a dilemma is about finding a balance between different alternatives. It should be pointed out that a dilemma can be problematic in the sense that it can be difficult to find the right balance. Resolving a creative dilemma begins by engaging in the two dimensions of exploration and discovery. Exploration does not occur without discovery because we explore, we try out new experiences, and those experiences in turn help us discover more about ourselves, including what we like and what we do not like, what fits and not fits. What we discover can then help us realize that there are other things we want to explore. People who go through life changes usually bounce from exploration to discovery and back, constantly experimenting and gaining deeper insights into their own lives and the choices they have made. The dialectical theory is said to be the practical solution to any dilemma because the central concept of dialectical theorists is the contradiction. A contradiction is the dynamic interplay between unified opposites. Three terms are important in understanding this definition: opposites, unified, and dynamic interplay. Central to the notion of opposition is mutual negation. Semantically, opposites are the antonyms of one another and function to nullify, cancel, undo, or otherwise undermine one another. Opposites have been identified that there are three kinds of oppositions. 1. Oppositions that are mutually exclusive and exhaustive vague, openness versus non-openness. 2. Oppositions that are mutual exclusive but not exhaustive vague, connection versus autonomy. And 3. Oppositions that are complementary, dominance versus submissiveness. Opposites are unified if they are in some way interdependent. Interdependence can take two basic forms, which are referred to as the unity of identity and interactive unity. The unity of identity is semantic or definitional unity. For example, we understand what night means only because we have a concept of day. With interactive unity, the opposing phenomena are united in practice or in function as part of the same interacting system. For example, marriages require both similarities and differences between the partners. Partners must be similar to some extent in order to establish and sustain a common bond. However, partners must also be different from each other in order to sustain autonomous identities. Contradictory phenomena are yoked together at the same time that they negate one another. This simultaneous both and dynamic produces an ongoing dialectical tension or interplay between opposites. To dialectical theorists, dialectical tensions keep the relating process vibrant and alive as parties navigate the unity of opposites in an ongoing manner. Therefore, contradictions are not a sign of trouble for a relationship, but are inherent in the process of relating. Contradictions have been described. There are three clusters that have been identified by several dialectical scholars: the dialectic of integration-separation, the dialectic of expression-non-expression, and the dialectic of stability-change. The dialectic of integration-separation is a family of related contradictions, all of which share the family resemblance of necessitating both partner integration and partner separation in relationships. A relationship is a union of two distinct individuals. Without union or integration, a relationship ceases to exist. But in the absence of separate individuals, there is nothing to integrate. Relating partners, therefore, face the ongoing challenge of negotiating the united opposition of integration and separation. Several different terms have been used to capture contradictions that can be located in this integration-separation cluster, including connection versus autonomy, interdependence versus independence, integration versus differentiation, intimacy versus autonomy, intimacy versus identity, the communal versus the individual, intimacy versus detachment, involved versus uninvolved, the freedom to be dependent versus the freedom to be independent, intimacy versus freedom, and stability versus self-identity. Although some of these labels are mere synonyms of one another, the variation in terms often captures subtle situation-specific differences in the interplay of integration and separation. The negotiation of integration-separation can be experienced by relationship parties at the mundane level of how much time to spend together versus how much time to spend alone or in activities with others. It can also be experienced as a dilemma of rights and obligations. For example, the right to have one's own needs fulfilled versus the obligation to be responsive to the needs of the other person. This dialectic could also be experienced as a dilemma of identity, sustaining a distinct I at the same time that a we identity is constructed. In short, the dialectic of integration-separation can be experienced in many ways by relating partners. The dialectic of expression-known expression refers to a cluster of contradictions that revolve around the united opposition of candor and discretion. Relationship intimacy is built on a scaffold of openness, honesty, and complete disclosure. Yet, at the same time, intimacy also involves respect for each person's right to privacy and the obligation to protect one's partner from the hurt or embarrassment that can result from insufficient discretion. The dialectic of expression-known expression requires an ongoing negotiation of revelation and concealment, both in interactions between the two partners and in their interactions with others outside the relationship. The dialectic of expression-known expression can be experienced in many different ways by relationship parties. For example, parties can frame the dialectic as a matter of individual rights, the right to privacy, and the right to freedom of expression. Alternatively, parties might frame the dialectic around issues of protection, in which the decision to disclose or not revolves around a desire to protect oneself from hurt or embarrassment versus a desire to protect the partner from hurt. Finally, the dialectic of stability versus change refers to a family of contradictions that revolve around the unified opposition of predictability, certainty, routinization, and stability on the one hand, and unpredictability, uncertainty, spontaneity, and change on the other hand. Relationships require both stability and change to establish and sustain their well-being. Bachner and Eisenberg, 1987. Leslie Baxter and Barbara Montgomery, 1996, used the metaphor of jazz in discussing the dialectic of stability change in relationships. Jazz artists follow a basic melody that functions as the predictable center of a given artistic performance. This backdrop of certainty enables wildly spontaneous and unpredictable musical departures. Similarly, relationship parties tack back and forth between the stable givens of their relationship and unpredictable new demands and experiences. This discussion of commonly identified contradictions does not exhaust the list of possible unified oppositions that face relationship pairs, but it provides an introduction to at least some of the dialectical tensions that friends, romantic partners, marital couples, and families face as they conduct their everyday relating. Chapter 3. Communication and Contradictions.
ዝቐኒልና ኣብ ምዕራፍ 3 ክንቅፅል ኢና ኣብ ዝመፅእ ንሎሚ ንረኹ መዓልቲ